Here we go again. Justin Trudeau has officially broken his silence on everything, but it's not in how you would expect it to be, or maybe it is. He has been approached by reporters, and then he was absolutely heckled when he left Parliament. So we're going to be taking a look at that along with a couple other things. So if you're just looking for the heckling clip, go to the last bit of the video. But I hope you do stick around for the full thing because we have quite a couple of things to take a look at, and it's going to be pretty informative. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage you guys to hit the like button and subscribe. You may recognize me from other channels, but this is indeed a extra channel, so I'd really appreciate the support that you guys show on all of my other channels. And without further ado, let's get right into this video. Starting off with a bit of a roundup from today's events. This video is brought to you by, I don't know, CBC, CTV, who knows? They're going to end up copyright claiming everything anyways, like they have been. But let's take a look here at how the NDP is going to be joining Pierre Poilievre and the Conservatives to basically topple the Liberal government.
Just excited to be here today.
A sizable cabinet shuffle that aimed to strengthen and stabilize Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's cabinet, instead today overshadowed by an NDP letter that puts the Prime Minister's political future in jeopardy. In a letter to Canadians, NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says, no matter who is leading the Liberal Party, this government's time is up. We will put forward a clear motion of non-confidence in the next sitting of the House of Commons. With that letter, Trudeau has lost all support in the House. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has been repeatedly pushing for an early election and took it one step further today.
I will be writing the Governor-General, asking her to urgently reconvene Parliament and require a non-confidence vote so the Prime Minister can judge whether he stays in power.
This all coming as the Prime Minister made significant changes to his inner circle.
Why do you still have confidence in the Prime Minister?
The Prime Minister is the Prime Minister.
Who today face repeated questions about their leader's future.
This is a time for unity.
Wait, what? Is she walking and holding? She's walking and holding that guy's hand. Is he holding that other guy's hand? It looks like that. Maybe he's holding a purse. Okay, that was just a weird little detail. It doesn't matter, but that caught me off guard.
Their leader's future.
This is a time for unity. This is a time for us to stand together.
The Prime Minister has been very focused on working with his cabinet, working with his government on Canadians' priorities.
4 current cabinet ministers were moved into new positions or saw their portfolios changed, while 8 new faces joined the Prime Minister's cabinet, although already faced with harsh realities.
I understand there's going to be a short runway. I'm not blind to that. But if I can make a small difference, if I can make a big difference, I want to make the biggest difference that I can. That's why I joined politics in the first place.
So far, Prime Minister Trudeau has not yet directly addressed Chrystia Freeland's sudden resignation on Monday, leaving the biggest question still unanswered. What will his next move be?
I personally don't think that he will address Chrystia Freeland leaving. I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think that was a horrible situation for him and he just wants it to blow over, but I do not think he has any intentions whatsoever of addressing it. I think he's just moving on, right? We've seen this before and we're about to see it again, where that's just how Justin Trudeau handles bad press. He smiles to the cameras, he waves, and everyone that's very close to him stays close to him, but I guess until they don't, which is what happened with Freeland. But anyways, I don't think that we're ever going to get any answers. You might see him go on a podcast maybe after he loses the next election, but other than that, I don't think we're going to hear anything.
The writing is on the wall, it's on the ceiling, it's on the carpet, it's everywhere.
Now, all of this couldn't come at a more critical time for this country. President-elect Donald Trump's tariff threat, now exactly a month away, with concerns it could send Canada's economy into a recession. Heather?
And Jeremy, we just heard briefly from the Prime Minister. What did he have to say?
Yeah, exactly, Heather. The Prime Minister stopped in front of reporters' cameras for the first time all week. Still did not directly answer what happened on Monday with Chrystia Freeland.
No, and he won't.
Finally spoke to reporters for the first time, really just moments ago. Here's what the Prime Minister had to say.
Are you considering proroguing?
We just had an excellent cabinet meeting that was almost entirely focused on the Canada-U.S. dynamic. We know how important it is for Canadians that we be there to protect not just the Canadian economy, but their jobs, the cost of living challenges they're facing that could get worse.
After another whirlwind day on Parliament Hill, the Prime Minister says a great cabinet meeting. And Heather, we still have no indication as to what his next step might be.
Okay, Jeremy, thank you for this. And let's bring in CTV's chief political correspondent, Vashi Kapelos. Vashi, a lot going on here this week, rounding off with an incredibly busy day today. We just heard that very brief address from the Prime Minister, but he hasn't really addressed any of the main issues or addressed the nation.
He hasn't. He won't. This is what he does. This is what Trudeau, this is what the Laurentians do, is they just let that cycle go on. And unfortunately, it's pretty much always worked in his best interest, or people like him. I mean, think about it, right? The craziest thing in Canadian history ever, almost any historic event out of any country ever, happened here in Canada 13, 14 months ago, when the House Speaker invited a literal Nazi into Parliament. Like, there was stickers. Remember that? I did not see that coming. Remember that whole shebang, right? It was crazy. Everybody around the world was like, oh my God, a Nazi was in Parliament? And they all stood up and clapped. And who's talking about that anymore? You're almost ostracized if you bring it up. Like, oh God, he's not still that thing. And like blackface, right? Like, you bring up these monumental things, historic things that has happened either by the Prime Minister or somebody right next to him, but still under his watch. And we don't talk about it anymore. So this entire Freeland leaving, news cycle, that's going to be yesterday's news tomorrow. It already almost is, because now everyone's talking about Jagmeet. So we're still not going to get, I just want to be clear. Okay? I don't think that it's in anyone's best interest to sit here and watch different videos and wait for an answer from Trudeau on what the hell happened with Freeland. That's going to happen post-election, when he's no longer Prime Minister, when he's a Liberal, when he maybe chooses to leave politics and work in the private sector. Okay, because I don't think he's going to just stop working. He's a fairly young guy, right? All things considered, he's fairly young considering other politicians are like still politicians in like their 60s and 70s. So don't get your hopes up on any answers about Freeland. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah, Heather, I'm actually blown away by that clip and how brief, as you put it, or as you rightly characterize it, it was. I mean, we have, this week started off with Chrystia Freeland, his top cabinet minister, the deputy prime minister of this country, quitting and saying that they were at odds over the future path of Canada and at odds about how to respond to Donald Trump. That threat, as Jeremy rightly points out, still looms very large. He made a couple of jokes to Liberal Party donors and the Liberal Party Christmas party. And other than that, this comment is the only thing we've heard. No direct comment about the prospect of prorogation, no direct comment about his own leadership. It is, I guess, confounding, to say the least, that there is no desire to speak more directly to Canadians about what has been an incredibly chaotic week against the backdrop of, as Jeremy and you put it, such a serious threat from south of the border.
Absolutely. Okay, and Vashi, what are his options?
Well, his options, I think, if you look at them plainly, are stay or go. Politically, it seems very, very hard to see the path to staying, given the number of MPs who are speaking out in his own caucus against him, given what Chrystia Freeland said, and given how they have performed in the most recent by-election, even where they shed 23 points. I think the options have very much narrowed for the Prime Minister, Heather.
Vashi, thank you for your time, as always.
Yeah, no, he's done. There's nothing else to talk about. There's no more. There's not going to be any more good publicity for Justin Trudeau. He's at this literal end. And I mean, in terms of Trudeau being stopped in Parliament and him, speaking to the press or not speaking to the press, I guess in this instance, this is the clip, right?
We just had an excellent cabinet meeting that is almost entirely focused on the Canada-U.S. dynamic.
You can't even talk.
How important it is for Canadians that we be there to protect not just the Canadian economy, but their jobs, the cost of living challenges they're facing that could get worse. We have a lot of work to do, and that's what we're focused on.
And that's the only thing that he has said since Freeland. That's the only thing he said to reporters. I mean, he did speak to the Liberal Party at the Christmas event on Monday after Freeland basically said, screw you, I'm no longer part of your cabinet. Best of luck, break a leg, quite literally. And he spoke to, you know, the people that were paying thousands of dollars probably for admission and entrance to that event. Taxpayer funded food, taxpayer funded drinks, right? You saw them all partying. I did an emergency broadcast on my main channel, Mr. Sunshine, and he didn't address a single thing. He said, this is why we need to double down on how much money we're raising, because we need to fight Pierre Poilievre. Like that was his entire message. It's insane. It's insane behavior. And when you look at the people that are closest to him, such as this doofus here, Mark Miller, the immigration minister. I mean, they're keeping a close lid on everything. They're not opening their mouths on anything about Trudeau.
Well, Pierre Poilievre is pulling another one of his convoy moves. They tried that going to the Governor General and tried to turn some weird trick that somehow gets Pierre Poilievre where he needs to be. So it's another shtick. Is he going to bring donuts and coffee to the Governor General at the same time with his convoy people? I mean, this is ridiculous. So these are games. We have to be serious and make sure that we're focusing on the next 60 days.
Like, is that supposed to be insulting? Is he going to bring donuts and coffee to the convoy people? Like, what the hell are you even saying? What does that even mean? Are you going to bring donuts and coffee to the convoy with the convoy people to the Governor General? Are you saying that as if that's a bad thing? Donuts and coffee are phenomenal, and convoy people are extremely nice. So I don't know what the hell he's going on about. But finally, likely the clip that you're here to see is Justin Trudeau getting heckled. So let's take a look here.
We want an election. We want justice for your COVID lies. You're a COVID liar. We're going to have our justice. We're not finished. We want justice for your lies and your corruption. Lies and corruption that have left this country in despair, decay, death, desolation, and destruction because of your lies. Lies and corruption. War lies, money lies, and COVID lies. You're a COVID liar, and you will pay for your COVID lies. We will have an election, and we will never forget your COVID lies. And we won't forget your COVID lies either. You liars, liars, liars.
I mean, that's a lot of talk about the blip. I don't even know I'm allowed to put those words in here. But anyways, as you can see here, the right blend says Justin Trudeau ignored questions about resigning and sunk out the back door of Parliament. But angry Canadian man Johnny Rowe was waiting him epically called him out and his fake news friends. We want an election and we want justice. And so, as you can see, Trudeau has no intentions whatsoever of acknowledging anything that has happened, and expect this type of behavior to be amplified as we close off the year 2024 with an insane amount of controversy, an insane amount of unanswered questions, and then we go into 2025 with we're all expecting an election in the first 2 months. It's going to happen. Jagmeet Singh said that he's on board with it, and now he qualifies for his pension. So even if an election they do a vote of non-confidence right away, tomorrow, I'm pretty sure that he'll still be able to qualify for his pension in that amount of time. So get Jagmeet his pension, give him his pension. Who cares? It's a small price to pay, all things considered. And let's just move on with this election, because I don't think Canadians, I don't think this country, I don't think anybody can just fathom Justin Trudeau and the Liberals staying in power until October of 2025. That's the end of the video. Everybody, hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.